To celebrate the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, I watched a whole bunch of tie-in Star Wars canon stories related to The Phantom Menace. So that's comics, books, TV episodes that have to do with some of the characters, themes, or events of the movie. And here are my top 10 canon Phantom Menace tie-in stories. We're going to start with two honorable mentions. First off, Queen's Shadow. It doesn't take place during The Phantom Menace, but 4 years after, and serves as a bridge for Padmé's character between The Phantom Menace, where she is the Queen of Naboo, to Attack of the Clones, where she is the Senator of Naboo. We see her transition between these roles, and the effects that her actions in The Phantom Menace, namely showing up to the Senate one day and ousting the Chancellor and then leaving, has her new Senator colleagues not trust her easily because of that and what she has to do to overcome it. And the second one is the Star Wars Rebels episode Twin Suns, where we get to see Obi-Wan fight with Maul again for the last time. This episode serves to show how far Obi-Wan's character has grown and changed and evolved, and how much Maul's character has not. The lightsaber battle is the only way to properly top the bombastic, incredible energy of the Duel of the Fates. Having this reserved, quick, efficient, almost meditative fight, and a great end to the rivalry between these characters. Alright, starting off at number 10, we have the comic book Age of Republic Darth Maul by Jody Houser. Darth Sidious teaches Maul a lesson in patience, a necessary tool in the arsenal of the Sith if they are to overcome the advantages the Jedi have against them in both numbers and support from the Republic. It's a brief but good insight into Sidious's long-term views on gaining power and revenge. At number 9, we have Star Wars Adventures, the 2020 series, issues 3 and 4, the Life Day story by Michael Moriki. It's nice to see a story of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon meshing well together. A lot of the stories about them see them at odds, even The Phantom Menace in regards to Anakin. Obi-Wan appreciating and learning from his master while he's alive is just very nice to see. We see the ways that Obi-Wan incorporates the unconventional approaches of Qui-Gon into how he saves his master and several Wookiees taken captive by Trandoshan hunters during Life Day. At number 8, we have the short story An Unwilling Apprentice by George Mann from the Myths and Fables collection. This story shows how Sidious comes to disrupt Maul's childhood, which up until this point was pretty happy. Drives him away from his loved ones and into an abusive home. To escape, Maul draws on the dark side to kill his cruel adoptive father and his 2 adopted brothers. Is Maul just evil Cinderella? This demonstration of hatred, pain, and power leads Sidious to take him in as his apprentice. It makes Maul's unquenchable rage just all that more grounded and believable, even though this story is told like it is a myth or a fairy tale. At number 7, we have the comic book Phantom Menace 25th Anniversary Special, which adds some additional scenes and context around Anakin's experience with being freed from slavery, and then immediately being judged harshly by both the Jedi Council and Obi-Wan Kenobi during the Phantom Menace. And it also has some really good moments for Shmi and Jar Jar. At number 6, we have the comic book Age of Republic Obi-Wan Kenobi by Jody Houser. This is a great epilogue to The Phantom Menace that shows the first mission that Obi-Wan and Anakin go on together as master and apprentice, and how they handle the elephant in the room, that is, if Qui-Gon were alive, then Obi-Wan would not be Anakin's mentor. It's just a nice, heartfelt moment between the two of them. Coming in at number 5, we have The Living Force by John Jackson Miller. This takes place 1 year before The Phantom Menace, has a lot of characters that it covers with each of the 12 members of the Jedi Council, plus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, as we see the Jedi of the Council be pushed by Qui-Gon to leave their stuffy tower and go connect with some of the real, just ordinary people in the galaxy that they're serving. It's a great view in why Qui-Gon is such a great Jedi. It's a great view of what the galaxy is like at this point. And also, we get to see how, even when he was a senator, Palpatine was using his influence and power to herk and jerk the Jedi around to do a bunch of just meaningless shit, so that way they can't be as connected to the galaxy, and therefore we get to see why Qui-Gon is such a good foil to Palpatine, and how if he lived throughout the Phantom Menace, perhaps Palpatine's plans wouldn't have come to fruition. Coming in at number 4, we have the animated episode from the Tales of the Jedi, The Sith Lord. This episode takes place concurrently with the events of the Phantom Menace, but through the eyes of Count Dooku, Qui-Gon's former master. We see how Qui-Gon's death and the inaction of the Council during the film feeds directly into Sidious's ongoing plans, as Dooku takes the final steps to replace Darth Maul as Sidious's apprentice. He duels and kills Jedi Master Yaddle. It's a great bridging of the stories of the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones through the villains. At number 3, we have the mini-comic series Darth Maul, issues number 1 through 5 by Cullen Bunn. We get an in-depth look at Darth Maul before the events of the Phantom Menace. When a Jedi Padawan is kidnapped by crime syndicates, Maul seizes the opportunity to prove himself in battle against the Jedi without alerting the whole Jedi Order to the Sith's existence. This intriguing concept is pretty perfectly executed throughout the 5 issues of the limited series, and it feels like a great prequel to the Phantom Menace's antagonist. Coming in at number 2, we have The Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston. This book starts at the very beginning of Padmé's rulership of Naboo as Queen Amidala. It goes into the depths of a child leader and the handmaidens that support her, what that system was like, and then it gives us their points of view throughout the course of the Phantom Menace. It ties in perfectly because it gives us extra backstory and additional layers to these characters, and then builds on the events that happened during the movie, making them more personal to these characters. I really liked this book. It was my favorite of the Queen trilogy, and I thought the tie-ins were done perfectly. There are some scenes in this that I think are just absolutely chilling, some that I think are hilarious, and it gives a lot of depth to some side characters and also to Natalie Portman's Padme. And coming in at number 1, the ultimate Phantom Menace tie-in is the novel Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. This book takes place several years before the Phantom Menace, still kind of early into the apprenticeship of Obi-Wan Kenobi to Qui-Gon Jinn, and they do not get along super well. The team that we see them be in the Phantom Menace, they are not that in the early days because they are such different Jedi, which the movie establishes. So this book goes into how was their close bond formed despite these differences, and also as the book starts off with the two characters being like, look, we've been doing this Master Apprentice thing for a couple years now and it has not been working. Qui-Gon's just been offered a seat on the council. This is a great way for their apprenticeship, Master-Apprentice relationship to end, with Qui-Gon taking the seat on the council. No hurt feelings. Nobody will think less of Obi-Wan for failing out of Qui-Gon being a master. No one will think bad of Qui-Gon for dropping an apprentice. A nice easy out, but then one last mission that they go on together shakes both of their beliefs to the core, and they have to learn to understand each other and work together. We also get an in-depth exploration of Qui-Gon's views on prophecy and why he is so enthralled by the Chosen One prophecy when he meets Anakin in the Phantom Menace. I think this book answers a lot of questions that, if you think about these characters and their relationships and their actions in the movie a lot, all of the answers can be found here. It's a damn compelling story. I love all of the side characters that it introduces as well. It's a great, interesting plot with a fun twist at the end of it. I thoroughly enjoyed this book from start to finish. It's one of my favorite prequel era books, and I highly recommend checking it out, especially if you want something connected to the Phantom Menace after celebrating it for its 25th anniversary. Well, that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me talk about more nerdy Star Wars stuff in depth, I've got some videos for you right here, or I've got something that the algorithm thinks you'll like right here. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.